Good morning, students. Today we will be starting with the first lesson of database management system. So the first lesson is database system concept. Now, before we actually begin with this course, let us first understand what do we mean by database management system. So now, since you can see in the first slide, there is a last point written as database touch all the aspects of our life. Now, what does this mean? That wherever you go in any corner of the world, to whatever place you go, every place you will find this particular database management system. If you go to restaurant for eating, you will find database there also. If you go for shopping something in any of the shop, you will find database there also. If you go to any of the banks, you will find database management system there also. If you're traveling through railways, you will have database management system for railways. If you're traveling through your bus, you will find there also. If you're traveling through airlines, you will find database system there also. If you come to the college, you will find database to the college also. If you go to schools, you will find database in school also. Tomorrow, if you go to work in some organization, you will find database there also. So it is said that it is going to come everywhere, wherever you go. Now, what does this database management system actually mean? It is nothing but containing an information of a particular organization or a place where you are going to visit. So if I go to college, it will be a collection of information with respect to college. If I go to banks, it will be collection of information with respect to customers in the bank. If I go to airlines, it will be the information with respect to the all the people who are traveling from one place to another place. If I go to some shop, it will be the information with respect to a person who has purchased a particular garment from the shop. So it is nothing but the collection of information based on a particular enterprise. Now that enterprise can be anything, as I just said, like banks, airlines, universities, colleges, any shops, then any of the company. It is a collection of interrelated data. Now interrelated data means what? It is not only one type of a data, there may be many type of a data. I may have numeric data, I may have text data, I may have some images also. So all these types of data or interrelated data can be stored together, and when all of them or when everything is stored together, I call it as information, and I call that entire system as a database management system. So we call it as a collection of a data, and that data can be any kind of a data, maybe only numeric, maybe only text, or only images, or collection of all together. An environment that is both convenient and efficient to use. So once this database is prepared, and if a user wants to access this particular data, it is very easy and it is very efficient to access this data. Why it is easy and why it is efficient? Because the way in which it is organized, it is self-explanatory, and it can be accessed by using a particular language. So if you remember, I had said you during explaining of your syllabus that in the database, there are many models like relational model, network model, hierarchical model, ER model, out of which we are going to study a relational model in D. What does this relational model say? That a data which you are going to store in the database is in the form of a table. So if I show you a table, it is always easy to read the table as compared to reading of too many pages. Now if I give you 100 pages and if I put that 100 page ka data in the table, it is always easy to read the table as compared to read the entire data which is in the form of a only text. So how can you read the table easily? With the help of the column names. So if I have a column name as date of birth, so what is expected in the data itself? In all the columns, the data will be date of birth. If I have given a name of a column as address, so what will be the data inside that column? It will be the address with respect to employees. But if a same data, I store it in some another way, like only textual information, and if I want to search the information of a student called as Dishank, which is the last one, I have to read entire text or entire document along with all the details of all the students. But if same data is represented in the form of a text, I just have to search Dishank. Once Dishank is being searched, I can get all the details in the tabular form. Okay, with the help of rows and columns. Okay, so once if the data is in the form of a table, it becomes very convenient and very efficient for use. So the person who wants to extract the data, for them also it becomes easier, and the person who wants to read the data, for them also it becomes easier. Now there are many, as I said, there are many areas where this database can be used. So where it can be used, first is it is used in banking. So if you go to the bank, you will see that if in your house there are five people staying, and if all the five people have a account in the bank, tomorrow if you go and ask the history of 2010, they can give you the history of 2010 also. Why? Because they have maintained that particular record in a form of a database. Again, if you go day after tomorrow and take a same data of your mother, you will, the bank will give you the data of your mother also. Why? Because every detail with respect to every customer is being kept separately. And how that separation is done, it is separate, that separation is done with the help of the account number. Yes, Pratham. Pratham, you have raised hand. Pratham. Okay. So if you go to the
Ma'am, it was done by mistake. Sorry.
okay, no problem. So what I was telling, that if you go to the bank, every bank stores a detail of every customer who has an account with that particular bank. So if I have an account with Bank of Baroda, tomorrow if I go and if I try to access the details up till date from the account was open, the bank can give me all the details. Okay, why? Because they have maintained each and every record in the database. Now, even if you have an account in Bank of Baroda, even if you go, they will give you the details. Now, how are my details separated from your details? Because both of them cannot have a same account number. So every customer that goes and stores or that uses a bank has a separate account number. So we call that special number as a primary key in database management system. Now, one of the simple example of the primary key is your enrollment number. If you are, there are 60 students, all the 60 students cannot have a same enrollment number. Do any one of you have a same enrollment number? No. Why? Because we are differentiating you from the other student by using that particular key. So tomorrow if you come to the college and if you want a history of yourself, how you are going to give you, how the college will give you the history depending upon the enrollment number. It might happen that two students have same name, two students may stay in the same area, they may have email id as same, they may have phone number as same, but they cannot have a enrollment number as same. So in our case we can have enrollment number as the primary key. So if it is bank, account number is the primary key. So if you go to any application, every application will have some or the other primary key, which is used as a unique identification for identifying the data with respect to that particular customer or that particular student. So we have the history of all the bank related transactions in the form of database stored with the bank. As and when it is being required by the user, that details are given by the bank to the user. Second, we can use this database management system in the airlines. Now if I want to travel from here to say suppose Goa, and if I want to travel through airlines, what I'm supposed to do, I have to open the portal of any particular say Air India. After I do that, I have to check the availability of the date on which I'm traveling. If the seats are available, if the flight is available, I have to do the booking. Once the booking is done, it will give me the schedule that your flight is flight number is so and so, your name is so and so, your age is so and so, you are being allocated with the middle seat or the left or the window seat, whatever it is. The departure is at so and so time, the arrival is at so and so time, and due to this situation you have to arrive at so much time on the airport. So all these details are stored where? They are stored with those particular airlines of Air India with respect to you as a person traveling in the database that they have maintained at their end. Okay, so tomorrow if you go and if you do not have a ticket, or if you want to take the record of the past tickets that you have booked, you can go to the same portal and extract the data, or else you can go physically to that airlines as request them to give you the data. They will search the data from their database and provide the data to you. Okay, so if it is airlines, what details are stored? Everything that you have done, your seat number, your name, your age, what documents you are supposed to give, what is your passport number, every details are saved there. Okay, next, if it is university, that means if it is college, you know what details can be stored. at what year you were admitted, what was your name, what was your SSC marks, whether you were institute level admitted student or you were cap level admitted student, what was your marks of first semester, what was the course registration, what were your soft skills, how much percentage did you score, if you had any KT, what is the KT, then if you were detained, what was the percentage of detaining. All these records with respect to each and every student by using that enrollment number is stored in the university. Okay, how much marks did you score, if you have passed diploma, in which year did you pass, with what marks did you pass, have you collected your leaving certificate, have you collected your passing certificate, have you collected your equivalent certificate. All these details are also stored with respect to the college. So tomorrow if you come and if you ask me that मैंने तो passing certificate लिया ही नहीं, so I cannot issue you the new one. I have to first go and check in the database whether you have issued or not. If you are issued, you will be given a duplicate, but if you have not issued, you will be given the original one. Okay, so such type of database is being maintained with respect to the student records inside the university or inside the college also. Then next is sales. Now many of you might have heard about sales and marketing field. So all the details with respect to customer, what products they have purchased, when did they purchase, what time did they purchase, what was the amount of the purchase, did they exchange that particular product, what was the guarantee, what was the warranty. All those details with respect to the sales are also stored with the particular shopkeeper of each and every shop. Then next is online retailers. Online retailers means what? If you do any kind of online shopping, like if you use Flipkart, Amazon, Myntra, whatever you use, if you have ever observed in my orders, if you go, it shows you the past history of all the things which you have ordered previously also. So how it is storing and how it is showing it to you with the database that they have synced with your personal ID or with your personal name. So everywhere inside the online retailing or online shopping also you find a database. So tomorrow if you want to check कि मैंने last year March में क्या order किया था, so you can go inside the my orders and check that in March at what particular date what you had ordered, what was the price you ordered at that time, and what was the price of the same product now. You can do that comparison also. Okay, so you have the database when you have or when you use online shopping also. Next is manufacturing. Many of us, not many of us, at many places we have manufacturer also. They develop some particular products and they sell it in the market. So before selling it to the person in the market or before selling it to the supplier also maintains the detail of the product, as well as the manufacturer also maintains the detail of the product. So if I am a manufacturer of say some clothes or say suppose of mobile phones, so I create those mobile phones and I sell it to Samsung. Samsung also maintains the detail of all the mobile phones. I being the manufacturer also maintains the details of all the mobile phones which I have created. Once that Samsung gives the phone to the person who has come to purchase, so Samsung has to maintain the details of the product as well as the detail of a person to whom the product was sold. But what I be the manufacturer will be storing the detail of the supplier to whom I have supplied the product as well as the details of the product. Okay, that is what is manufacturing. Last is human resource. What is human resource? Tomorrow after you complete your studies, you will be joining some or the other organization. Now it is not necessary that everyone will stay in one organization only. If some of you might keep on shifting from one organization to another organization as per your growth. So if you are leaving from one organization to another organization, so if you have left, this doesn't mean that the previous organization will erase your data. It will keep the data as it is. Why? Because even if you come back or if you want any records of those previous company, the company will always provide you with those records. Okay. So even if you even if you go from one company to another company, every company maintains the record, like at what was the date of joining, then were you joined as a fresher or were you joined as an experienced person, what is your salary, how much is your working experience, what will be the date of retirement, how much is your scale, what is your what are your skills, what are you are into which department, you belong to which particular organization name. All these things will be stored as a part of a particular employee with respect to that particular company. So likewise there are many more areas. We have already covered all the areas, but likewise if you see, there anywhere you go, everywhere there is a database being maintained. And what is that database? It is a collection of the information which can be used to extract or which can be used to store in terms of any use further in the future. So next tomorrow if you come and ask me, since I have created that database, I can provide you with that data. And how is this data stored? Majorly it is stored using relational database system, which is in the form of a table containing rows and columns. Many of them might use different models, but since this is a very simplest model, so many of the organizations or many of the areas written in this application uses a relational database only. Therefore, we also call DBMS as RDBMS. Why it is called as RDBMS? Because it is relational database management system, because your entire management is done with the help of a table. Therefore, it is called as relational database management system. Okay. So what is database? It is a very large integrated collection of a data. What kind of data you can store? Any data can be stored, whether it is only numbers, only text, images, or combination of anything. Okay. Now every data that you store has two things. One is the entity and one is the relationship. Entity is what? Something that exists in a real world is called as entity. Okay. Student, a student existing in a real world, yes. So students are called as entity. Now if I say chalk, is chalk existing in the real world? Yes. Can you see? Yes. So it is considered as entity. If I show you remote of an AC, can it be called as entity? Yes, because it is existing in the real world and it can be seen. So anything which is existing in the real world and which can be seen is considered to be as entity. If I ask you to see the chair, chair is considered to be as entity. If I ask you to see a table, table is an entity. Why? Because you can see them and they exist in a real world. Therefore, they are considered to be as a entity. Now, what is a relationship? Any relationship between the two entities. For example, if it is a college, can you see college? Yes. So I can call college as entity. What can be another entity? Say suppose student. Can you see student? Yes. So student is also entity. Now what can be a relationship between the student and college? Students go to college. So go to is what? It is a relationship. Students, teacher is also one of the entity. Teacher work in college. So work in college becomes what? It is a relationship. Teacher and student, again they both are entity. Teacher teaches student, so teaches becomes a relationship. Students learn from teacher, so learn from becomes relationship. So every entity is connected with a relationship. So if you want to show any connection between the entities, all those entities connection can be shown with the help of this relationship. So let it be any database, all the database has entities and every entity has its relationship with another entity also. So a database management system is a software package designed to store and manage the data. So we are not only storing the data, but once the data is stored, we also have to regularly maintain it. Now, if suppose you have taken admission in first year, even if you pass out, can I show the record that still Dishank is in first year? No, I have to keep on updating. As soon as Dishank goes to second year, I have to change the database from semester 1 to semester 3. Now, when Dishank goes to third year, I have to change from semester 3 to semester 5. So it is not only work of storing the data, but we also have to manage that data as and when the data is getting changed. Okay, so manage is also called as modifying the data or updating the data as and when it is done. अगर update नहीं हुआ है तो you cannot unnecessarily go and change the data because that will result into inconsistency. तो अगर data change हुआ है या होने वाला है तो ही आप database में जाके changes करो, but अगर नहीं होने वाला है तो let it be as it is. Okay. Then why do we use a database management system? Because all the data inside it is independent and it can be accessed very efficiently. Now, since it is in the form of a table, therefore the development time is also very less and the access time is also very less. Then we have something called as data integrity and security. What do you mean by data integrity and security? Data integrity is what? If the data is stored as FCOG1111, so the enrollment number for Dishank will always remain FCOG11111. Now, if in case I change that data, or if I do not have a permission, but if it is hacked and if I change the data, that means I have lost the integrity with respect to that particular database. So if the data is correct, the data has the integrity. If the data is being hacked or if the system is failed or any data is being changed by mistake, I call that the database has lost its integrity. So we have to keep on maintaining the integrity also by having a regular check on the database. Then next you have uniform data administration. Uniform data administration means what? Now you as a student, you are related to department also, you are related to exam section also, you are related to library also. Okay. Now if in exam section your enrollment number is FCOG1111, can your enrollment number be different in the department? No, it has to be same. Can your enrollment number be different in the library database? No, it has to be same. Now suppose by mistake if your enrollment number is changed, FCOG112 कर दिया, so if it is changed in the exam section, it has to be changed in the department also, it has to be changed in the library also. If it is not changed, that means there is no uniformity in the data. But if it is changed properly everywhere, we call that there is a uniformity in the data. Okay. So अगर एक जगह पे डेटा चेंज किया है तो अगर उसके रिलेटेड किधर और भी डेटा है तो आपको सब जगह जाके चेंज करना है. अगर चेंज नहीं किया तो देयर इज नो यूनिफॉर्मिटी. तो अगर मैंने चेंज नहीं किया एनरोलमेंट नंबर, एग्जाम सेक्शन से मुझे क्या एनरोलमेंट नंबर मिलेगा? FCOG1111 मिलेगा. बट अगर लाइब्रेरी में अपडेट किया है तो उधर से क्या मिलेगा? FCOG112. सो इज देयर अ यूनिफॉर्मिटी इन द डेटा? नो. So if you want to maintain this uniformity, first identify what you are changing and see where it is linked more. Identify the locations where it is linked. Once if it is updated in one place, it has to be updated in several different places also wherever it is linked. And if that is done, we call that there is a uniformity in the data. Okay, so even if it is accessed anywhere, library से access करो कि exam से access करो, उसको same ही data मिलना चाहिए. Therefore, that is what it is called as uniformity. Next is concurrent access and recovery from crashes. Concurrent access means what? If I am accessing the information of Dishank with respect to DBMS course, at the same time, Varsha madam can come and access the data of Dishank with respect to DS course. Why? Because both the courses are separate. So the system, database management system, allows such type of concurrent access with respect to one particular data inside the system. So हमारा एक डेटा क्या था? दिशांक का डेटा एक्सेस करो, तो मैं जाके एक्सेस कर रही थी DBMS का डेटा, वर्षा मैडम वाज कमिंग एंड एक्सेसिंग OS का डेटा. So that both can be done simultaneously, and if it is done simultaneously, we call it as concurrent access. At the same time, some third faculty can also come and access the data with respect to some another student. So that can also happen, not with respect to one student, but with respect to another student can also be done. So when we have multiple access to one single person or multiple person, it is being going to allowed at the same time, and we call that thing as concurrent access. Second is recovery from crashes. Now if in case the database with respect to DBMS of second year student is being lost, अभी तक जो भी टेस्ट लिए सबका डेटा गुम हो गया. So if I have not taken any backup, I will not have any case to recover back. But in case अगर मैंने उसको स्टोर किया है किसी और के पास, or if I have given that answer, given that marks return to you, I can have a way to collect it back. How I can collect it back from you? Or if I have taken a backup of the same thing somewhere else, I can recover it from there also. So what does a DBMS tells? That whenever you make a original copy of a data, see to it at the same time you make a backup also. Why? Because if the original is being lost, or if anything happens with respect to original, we can always recover it from the backup copy wherever the backup is stored inside the system. Okay, is this understood up till here? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, next we are going to study that before this database management system was used, the information was stored in the form of files. We can, what do you mean by files? Job aap kabhi, if I don't know whether you do remember or not, the different departments of our college do the submission in the form of files. आपने कभी देखा रहेगा, वो सोमया पॉलिटेक्निक का फाइल रहता है, उसके अंदर पेजेस रहते हैं, उसके अंदर उनके एक्सपेरिमेंट्स रहते हैं. But how do you submit? You submit in the form of a soft copy. So previously, before this table of database management was used, people were storing the records in the files. तो अगर मुझे कोई भी स्टूडेंट या कोई भी एम्प्लॉय का डेटा लेना है तो मुझे उसका फाइल निकालना पड़ेगा, सब कुछ ढूंढना पड़ेगा, एक एक पेज, उसके बाद वो डेटा निकलेगा. So there were some of the disadvantage of these file system, and because of that disadvantage, or to overcome that disadvantage, we started using database management system. But what we are going to learn here is database के पहले क्या use होता था, file system use होता था, where everything was written manually and it was accessed manually by the user. It was not accessed by writing any of the programming languages like we do it in DBMS, but it was to be accessed manually. Why? Because the records were prepared manually during file system. Now, see, in the early days, the database applications were built directly on the top of file system. That means what was used before database, file system was used, where records were written manually and they were accessed manually. Now, there are some drawbacks of these file system. What are the drawbacks of these file system? Let us see. First is data redundancy and inconsistency. What is data redundancy? Redundancy means multiple file formats and duplication of information in different files. If I am suppose a manager of a company and if I want to maintain a details of a employee ABCD, तो मैंने A का एक फाइल बनाया, B का एक फाइल बनाया, C का एक फाइल बनाया, D का एक फाइल बनाया. Tomorrow, if I change the company, a new manager will come. Now that new manager may not understand what I have made. So what will that new manager do? वो खुद के हिसाब से नया चार फाइल बनाएगा ABCD का. So tomorrow, if a third person comes and if it tries to understand, उसको जो A employee था, उसको दो different type का record मिलेगा. क्यों? एक तो मैंने बनाया हुआ वो और दूसरा जो मेरे बाद आया उसने बनाया हुआ. So what is happening? First of all, there is a duplication of data. एक ही employee A का दो data बनाया गया. ओके वो दोनों में भी क्या हुआ? डिफरेंट टाइप का डेटा था. एक में नाम कुछ अलग या फिर एज कुछ अलग, दूसरे में भी एज कुछ अलग, उसका सैलरी अकाउंट अलग, उसका डिपार्टमेंट अलग. जिसको जैसे समझा उसने वैसे बनाया. So that was called as data redundancy and inconsistency. Redundancy means more than one data is stored for a same person. So I have made a data for person A, who came after me also made a data of a person A. So there was duplication of a data. Inconsistency क्या हो सकता है? I have stored the address of A as Thane. जो दूसरा मैनेजर आया उसने लिखा address as Mulund. So now I also don't know whether it is Thane or Mulund. He also does not know whether it is Thane or Mulund. So when a person comes and tries to access a data, सबसे पहले तो उसको एक ही बंदे का दो data मिलेगा, and that too it is different. So this was a problem that was happening in the file system, and that was being totally avoided if it is database management system. Why it is avoided? Because I told you that when you're using a database management system, you have to maintain a uniformity. अगर आपने A का एड्रेस थाने किया है तो जिधर जिधर लिंक है उधर उधर आपको थाने करना है. नहीं करोगे तो आपको डेटाबेस कभी भी कंसिस्टेंट स्टेट में एक्सेस नहीं होगा. So that care is being taken in the database management system, which was not being taken in the file management system. Second is difficulty in accessing the data. Now what does this say? Need to write a new program to carry out each task. अभी what is difficulty in accessing the data? अगर मैंने दिशांक की एक फाइल बनाई है and I have stored the information कि उसका enrollment number ये है, अभी वो 6th सेमेस्टर में है, उसने 5th सेमेस्टर तक इतने मार्क्स स्कोर किया है, कोडेड में इतना है, बाकी सब्जेक्ट में इतना है, and I kept that file somewhere. Now if tomorrow Rupali madam comes and tries to access the data of Dishank, if she does not get a file, what she has to do? She has to first of all prepare the entire file again. Once the file is being prepared, and then she has to access the data. So what she did is she entirely written a new program with respect to the student called as Dishank right from semester 1, which was what? It was a duplication of the work, and to access that data, she has to first prepare the data and then only she could access. Why? Because the one which I had made is either not found in the department, or it has either got lost. I don't know what has happened. So that was happening in case of the file system. कि अगर कुछ भी फाइल या कुछ भी फाइल का एक भी पेज गुम हो जाता था, so what the programmer had to do, it had to write. Programmer means a person had to write that information again, and after that information has been written, then only it can access the data whatever it wanted from that particular file. So that is what we call it as difficulty in accessing the data. Third is data isolation. Data isolation is what? Multiple files and formats. एक ही फाइल हमने ऑलरेडी देखा यहाँ पे, redundancy means duplicate. बहुत सारी फाइल बनाई हुई है, हर एक फाइल का फॉर्मेट अलग है. किसी ने पहले एड्रेस लगाया है तो किसी ने पहले उसका पर्सनल इंफॉर्मेशन लगाया है, फिर किसी ने सेमेस्टर 2 डाला है तो दूसरे फाइल में सेमेस्टर 1 है. So I am not able to get any data from anywhere. I have to sit with both the files and I have to take both the files and then decide that which file is correct and then extract the data from that. That is what is called as data isolation. So now when we sit in database management system, what we have done, everything should be in the form of a table. Nothing should be written, nothing should be in any other format. सब कुछ टेबल में ही होना चाहिए. Even if you want to access as a table. If you want to store it as a table. So we do not have this format issue which is there inside the file management system. Is this about the physical files or the files in the devices? It is about the physical files, not the files in the devices. When I talk about device, तो device मतलब database management system हो गया. ये what is this? This is what you are learning is database management system के पहले कैसे होता था, पहले रिकॉर्ड कैसे बनते थे, फाइल में हाथ से लिखे जाते थे. So these were the problems. So to solve these problems, we started using system, and with system, database management system, which is a software like MySQL inserted into your computer, which is allowing to make everything in a form of a table. Okay, this is very olden times. जब आपको बड़े बड़े मेन फ्रेम कंप्यूटर्स जैसे यूज होते थे, वैसे पहले जमाने में फाइल्स यूज होती थी. ओके निशित. Next is integrity problem. Now what is integrity problem? There is, now when you go ahead in DBMS, we will understand some constraints. Out of that, one of the very important constraint is the integrity constraint. Now what is the integrity constraint? Now many of us have a bank account. Today if I do the transaction of sending or transferring 100 rupees to Dishank, if my balance is 1000 rupees and if I transfer 100 rupees to Dishank, what balance it should show me after the transaction? 900 rupees. Why? Because I have transferred from 100 I have already given to Dishank. But many a times you might have observed this कि कभी-कभी बैंक जल्दी से अपडेट नहीं करता है. वो क्या दिखाएगा, 100 रुपीज डिडक्ट किया हुआ दिखाएगा, बट इधर बैलेंस दिखाएगा 1000 ही इंस्टेड ऑफ शोइंग 900. So we call this issue as integrity issue. Even if your account is being debited, but it is not showing the current available balance, which has to be shown correct after the amount is being debited. So we call this problem as an integrity problem. तो जैसे ही ट्रांजैक्शन होता है, डेटाबेस आपका इतना स्ट्रांग होना चाहिए कि वो तब भी जो बैलेंस है आपको अपडेट करके देना चाहिए. अगर नहीं दिया है तो what do we call it, that the integrity of that particular database management system is little poor. Okay, so why does this happens? Because there may be some issues with the storing of the data, or there may be some issue with respect to transaction. So whenever you are making a database, so you have to very first thing check the integrity, and the integrity is more important if it is a banking related application. So the example I told you, अगर डेबिट हुआ है तो immediately आपका बैलेंस 900 दिखाना चाहिए. 1-2 घंटे के बाद 900 दिखाएगा, that means the system does not have the integrity. Why? Because it is confusing the user whether is it debited or is it not debited, whether it is received by Dishank or not. Okay, so this problem should not be there whenever I am designing the database management system. Then next is atomicity and updates. What is atomicity and update? Failure may leave a database in an inconsistent state. अभी मैंने क्या बोला, I have 1000 rupees in my account. After I have 1000 rupees, I have given or transferred 100 rupees to Dishank. What should be the balance in my system? It should show me 900. And what should be the balance in Dishank's account? It should be 100. Zero था, उसको मैंने 100 दिया, तो उसके अकाउंट में 100 दिखना चाहिए, मेरे अकाउंट में 900 दिखना चाहिए. अभी ये ट्रांजैक्शन करते करते अगर सिस्टम फेल हो गया, मेरा सिस्टम या बैंक का सिस्टम किसका भी, तो क्या हो जाएगा, मे बी ऐसा हो कि मेरे में 900 दिखे बट दिशांक में 0 ही दिखे. So what is that? It is called as atomicity problem. Why? Because account is not being updated at the end user. Dishank के साइड पे अपडेट हुआ ही नहीं, तो मेरे को तो if Dishank will, what will Dishank tell me कि मैडम आपने भेजा ही नहीं, but what will I tell when I check my account? मेरे में 900 हो गया है, तो my duty has been done. I have sent you. Now you look at your account, you go to your bank and you verify आपको मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा कि क्या होगा. So this is what is called as atomicity and update problem, which will happen if your system fails and it leaves the system in an inconsistent state, because of which a partial information or partial update is done. Means किसी एक के पास ही अपडेट होगा, मेरे पास क्या अपडेट है, मेरा 1000 से 900 हो गया बट दिशांक का 0 ही है, उसको 100 हुआ ही नहीं. So that is what is called as atomicity problem, which does not happen in case of our database management system. Even if it happens, it will be very rare, but it will not happen, and it would be only if it is a file management system. File में ऐसे होता था, database में ऐसे नहीं होगा. The next is concurrent access. So we know what is concurrent access now. If I want to access the data of exam with respect to Dishank, I can do for my course. Any other teacher at the same time can do for her course also. So there is multiple concurrent access has been allowed with respect to one person or with respect to multiple person. Okay. The next is security problem. What is security problem? It is hard to provide a user access to some but not to all data. अभी अगर file है, अभी file means the handwritten files which is there in the file system. तो वो file को मैं क्या ताला लगा के lock कर सकती हूँ क्या? नहीं. Anyone, if I have not kept it in a proper place or not in a proper room which is locked, anybody can come and access the data. Anybody can come and even change the data. No, we cannot track who has come and changed the data. But if it is database management system, I can always give some kind of rights, like how we had seen in OS yesterday. Read permissions, write permissions, execute permissions. I can set this permission with respect to the database management system tables also. If I want that you all should read, you can only read. But if I want that only Dishank should write, so Dishank will only write, whereas you all can read. So I can change this type of settings and give the security to my system or to my data inside the system, which was not possible inside the file system. File में क्या है, कोई भी आके कट करके नीचे लिख के जाएगा. Will I understand किसने कट किया या वो करेक्ट था कि जूना कट किया और करेक्ट था? Nothing can be understood. So that was a problem inside the file system, which has been overcome in the database management system. Okay, is this understood up till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now in the exam you might have a question like this: write the purpose of database management system. So you will write these purposes: data redundancy, difficulty in accessing the data, isolation, integrity problem, concurrent access, atomicity, and so on. There may be a question: write the drawbacks of file management system. So these are again the drawbacks of the file management system. There may be a third question like write the advantages of database management system. So these are all the advantages of the database management system. So same answer is there for 3 questions: purpose of DBMS, drawbacks of file system, and advantages of database management system. Okay. Here, what are you supposed to write for all the 3 questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we have a next topic called as levels of abstraction. Now can it, आपको C++ में abstraction हुआ है क्या? या ऐसा कुछ concept था C++ में?
Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Data abstraction.
हाँ, what is data abstraction? प्रथम बताओ. प्रथम कोई भी बताओ चलो. Any idea?
Ma'am, to give only essential details.
Yes, abstraction is to provide only essential details to the user, maybe to the user or whomsoever you want. Now if I want, I cannot show all the details to you. रिजल्ट में आपको दिखाते हैं क्या हर एक क्वेश्चन के अंदर किसको कितना मार्क्स मिला? नहीं. जब आप रिक्वेस्ट करोगे कि मुझे पेपर दिखाओ तभी आपको देखने मिलता है. अदरवाइज व्हाट यू गेट टू सी इज कि 100 में से आपको 80 मिला, दैट ओनली यू गेट टू सी. So in database management system also, everything is not shown to everybody. You have different levels, and based on those levels, the data is being made available to you. So we have 3 levels: physical level, logical level, and view level. These are the 3 levels of abstraction. Very important question from your online offline exam. Okay, levels of abstraction. So there are 3: physical level, logical level, and view level. Now what is physical level? It describes how the record is stored. ठीक है, अगर मेरे पास दिशांक का रिकॉर्ड है तो how am I going to store this record? That is being decided in the physical level. So this physical level is not shown to everybody. The person who is preparing the database, that person only knows how the data is stored or how the record is stored. If you are the user who is viewing the data, आपको नहीं दिखाया जाएगा physical level क्या है और उसके अंदर data कैसे store होता है. Okay, next is logical level. What is logical level? It is going to describe the data stored in the database and the relationship among the data. तो अगर मैंने दिशांक का डेटा स्टोर कर दिया, सीरियल नंबर, एनरोलमेंट नंबर, नेम, एड्रेस, सेमेस्टर 1 मार्क्स, सेमेस्टर 2 मार्क्स, 3 मार्क्स, 4 मार्क्स एंड सो ऑन, तो हर एक कॉलम का दूसरे कॉलम के साथ क्या रिलेशन है, where is that detail stored? That will be stored inside the logical level. So for example, if I have customer as a entity, तो कस्टमर का आईडी, कस्टमर नेम, कस्टमर स्ट्रीट, कस्टमर सिटी, ऑल दिस आईडी का रिलेशन क्या है नेम के साथ, नेम का रिलेशन स्ट्रीट के साथ क्या है, स्ट्रीट का रिलेशन सिटी के साथ क्या है, all these details are stored inside the logical level. Last comes the physical level. What is this physical level? Application programs hide the details of data types, and view can also hide the information. Now, what does this mean? That for security reasons, we are going to hide the details of physical level and logical level from the user. So if a user wants to see the data, the user can see what only the view level, कि टेबल कैसे दिखता है और टेबल के अंदर क्या क्या है वही यूजर देख सकता है, बट कैसे स्टोर किया है, दैट इज फिजिकल लेवल, कैन नॉट बी सीन. उसका रिलेशन दूसरे कॉलम के साथ क्या है, दैट इज लॉजिकल लेवल, विल ऑल्सो नॉट बीन एक्सप्लेन्ड और नॉट बीन टोल्ड टू द user. So whenever a user is observing, it is observing the view level or only the view of a table, but how that table is prepared, how the records are stored, and what is the relationship which your physical level and logical level is telling is being hidden from the user. Therefore we call this as different level of abstractions, where we are hiding the logical level and the physical level from the user. If at all the user wants to see the data, observe the view level, take the view of a table and access the data and go. Okay, have you understood what are the different view levels, different levels of abstraction? So see, this is the diagram. Physical level and logical level is hidden. When a user is looking from here, it can view only the top, that is a view level. Maybe I can have multiple views, or maybe I can have a single view. जो दिखेगा, it is only the view level. All the remaining details of how the data is stored and its relationship is hidden. This will be known to whom? The person who has prepared and only the administrator of the database. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then we have something called as instances and schema. First, we will see what is instance. The actual content of the database at a particular point of time is called as instance. That means I have a table in which I have two columns, serial number and name. Serial number 1, 2, 3. First in name of the student Dishank, second name of the student Varshil, third name of a student Soha. अभी मुझे डेटा, ये टेबल को मैंने नेम कर दिया एज SYCO students. Tomorrow if Pratham takes admission, will I update this table? Yes. I will add serial number 4, Pratham as a student. Next, on the another day, if Dhruv comes to take the admission, I will take serial number 5 and store the data as Dhruv. So on first day, I had 3 records of Dishank, Varshil and Soham. On second day, I had 4 records with 1 new entry. That is Dishank, Varshil and Soham were existing. Pratham was added new. On the third day, 4 records were existing. Record of Dhruv was added. Now, when I see the database on first day, what is the instance? Only 3 students. Why? Because whatever you see at that particular time is called as instance. On second day, when I see what is the instance? 4 students. On third day, when I see what is the instance, it is 5 students. On sixth day, if there is no new entry, what will be the instance? Still 5 students. On next day, again, if there is a new entry, what will be the instance? 6 students. So whatever you can see at that particular time is called as the instance of the data. अगर उसमें ऐड किया हुआ है, अगर वो दिख रहा है तो it will be that much. अगर ऐड नहीं किया हुआ है, दूसरे दिन ऐड करते हो बट एक दिन पहले देखते हो तो both the days का instance will be different. So instance of first day was 3, instance of second day was 4 students. Why? Because you observed the data on 2 different days. So if you are updating, your instance is changing. If you do not update, your instance remains same. That is what is called as instance. Did you understood this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then next is what is schema. The logical structure of the database is called as schema. So how is a logical structure? The structure is in the form of a table. If it is relation consisting in rows and columns. So if I change the model, network हो जाएगा तो network में क्या होगा? Roots, trees, branches, ऐसा सब होगा. So what will be the schema? The schema will have roots, will have leaves, will have childrens, will have branches. But if my structure is relationship, what will be the schema? Schema will be in the form of a table consisting of rows and columns. Okay. So your schema keeps on changing depending upon which model you are using in your database. So since we are going to use only RDBMS, so our structure is same, which is table, and the schema is also called as table. Are you understanding? Yes or
Yes,
no?
ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
Okay. You do not have this what is physical schema and logical schema. Okay. We just have a definition of what is instance and what is schema. So what is instance? Whatever you see at that particular time is called as instance. The logical structure or the design of the particular database is called as schema. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Now next we will do that what are the different data models. Now we are talking कि data ऐसा हो सकता टेबल में हो सकता है, network में हो सकता है. So क्या है? What are these different models that we will be seeing? So we have first model as relation model. We know what is relation model. Everything is in the form of a table consisting of rows and columns. If it is entity relationship model, means what? It is in the form of a diagram where every diagram has some symbols and those symbols have different names. Now if I can just show you the diagram of one of the ER diagram of university. Can you see this tab?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you see the diagram where we have some circle, some square, some
Ma'am,
diamond
we
shape?
can say half of the screen.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. I'll just enlarge it. Can you see now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. See, what is there in this diagram? We have some of the ovals, we have some rectangle, we have some diamond shaped symbols. This is what is ER diagram. Okay. So when I'm talking about the second model, entity relationship model, so these square, ये जो भी square है ना dark color में, those are called as entity, और जो भी diamond shape में है, those are called as relationship. So if you see, every entity or every two entity has a relation. अब कोई भी दो एंटिटी को देख लो, हर एक एंटिटीज को कुछ ना कुछ तो रिलेशन है साथ में कनेक्ट किया हुआ. Therefore it is called as entity relationship model, where every entity is what? Something that exists in a real world, and that entity is being connected to another entity with some relationship. Okay, so we can, when we represent the data in this way, we call it as ER model. ठीक है, ऐसा कुछ diagrammatic representation है, so we call it as ER model. If it is in table, we call it as relation model. Is this understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Next is object-based data model. Object-based data model means what? When I'm actually connecting my SQL program with either C, C++ or Java. So where I create entities as object, where I create some functions, where I create some methods. So when I have such kind of representation, I call it as object-based data model, where I am keeping my SQL database as backend, but front end as either Java or C or C++. तो वो program लिखूंगी मैं C, C++ में, जो data extract करेगा SQL से, and then it will give the output to the user. That is what is object-based data model. The next we have is semi-structured data model. Semi-structured data model means XML language में. Now you have learned HTML. Similarly, we have something called as XML. XML language होता है. That is also a representation of a data. Now this you will study more in detail when you go to degree. Okay, instead of using SQL, you will be, maybe you use SQL also, you will be using XML also. So this is totally another language where the database is represented in a semi-structured form. Okay. It is not proper structure in a form of a table, but some table, some physical files, some maybe some text files, all three when they are combined, we call it as a semi-structured data. तो तीनों को कैसे combine कर सकते हैं? With the help of this XML language, and then a database is prepared, and then the database is being extracted. Okay. Other models are network model and hierarchical model. Now let us first wait a minute. See, this is how your relational table or a relational model looked like, where I have a table storing the information of a customer. I have first column as customer ID, second as customer name, next as customer stays in which particular street, and what is the account number. So this is what is relational model. We will be learning how to create this table, how to create a columns, how to insert the data, how to update the data, how to delete the data, and how to extract the data. Okay. So see, here we have three tables. First table is customer, second is account, third is depositor table. Okay. So we can have more than one tables also inside the database. So to do this, we have to first create a database, then create tables inside the database. Wait a minute. Network model. Show you the diagram if I can. Can you see this diagram? Blue in color.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now this is how is your network model. Okay, where everything cannot be connected to every other entity. Okay, we do not call as entity also over here. We just call them as parts or components of a database. Customer is a part of a database. Order is a part of a database. Order line is a part of a database. Shipment is a part of a database. Product is part of a database. So product is related to order. Customer places an order. Order goes to order line. Then the shipment is connected to the order line, and then the product is connected to the order line. So this is how you represent the network model, where we based on the arrows, we have to understand that what is connected to what. We do not have any kind of relationship between any of these objects. We just have to name the objects and draw the connection or arrows with respect to other object. So by that, we have to read and understand what the what the database actually tries to tell. So what does this database actually tries to tell? That customer has placed a order with respect to some particular product, and then it also gives me the details of when it is going to ship and what is the order line. Order line means kab delivery se nikla, kab deliver hua, all those details. Okay. So we can say that whatever online transaction, online shoppings that we do, it may be using this kind of a network model, where I am a customer, I place an order with respect to particular product. Once the order is being placed, it tells me that now it is reached here, now it has been packed, now it has been shipped, now it is going to be delivered, it will be delivered at so and so time. So when I use such type of representation, I call it as a network model. Okay, are you understanding this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Now next we have is database language. That means if I'm going to use this RDBMS, what I am going to use as a language inside it. अभी तक हम देख रहे थे we are using SQL, हम SQL पढ़ेंगे. But SQL also has some different categories into it. What are those? First of all, we called SQL as a query language. Okay, why? Because we are writing query and then we are using that query to access the respective data. Therefore, we call it as a query language. Now we have many different things into it. First is the database DML. What is DML? Data manipulation language. We also have one language called as DDL, data definition language. Okay, what are these? These are parts of query language. Okay, DML is also query language, DDL is also query language. तो जब हम SQL पढ़ेंगे तो SQL में हम start कहाँ से करेंगे? DDL से. DDL के बाद DML, then we will see DCL, data control language. So what is DDL? As a name says, it is data definition language. What is it going to define? It is going to define the data. Therefore, it is called as data definition language. तो जो schema हमने पढ़ा, what is schema? The logical structure. Who is going to design the logical structure? It will be designed by using this DDL language. तो हम कौन सा स्ट्रक्चर यूज करने वाले हैं? कौन सा मॉडल? रिलेशनल मॉडल. तो रिलेशनल मॉडल में हम क्या करते हैं? टेबल बनाते हैं. तो टेबल हम कैसे बनाएंगे? विद द हेल्प ऑफ दिस DDL. So the command used for DDL is a create table command. So create table account. तो ये क्या करेगा? अकाउंट टेबल बनाएगा. उसके अंदर ओपन द राउंड ब्रैकेट्स, कौन से कॉलम्स होने चाहिए, अकाउंट नंबर होना चाहिए कॉलम जिसका डेटा टाइप इज कैरेक्टर, ओनली 10 कैरेक्टर्स कैन बी यूज्ड, दैट मींस मोर 255 कैन बी यूज्ड, बट इसने 10 लिखा है तो 10 ही अलाउ करेगा. Comma means it will end the first column and start the second column. That is, branch name will be the second column. What you can input here is character. How many characters? 10 characters. Again, comma is the end of the second column, beginning of the third column. So what will be the third column? Balance will be the third column, where you will write, where you can input integers into it. If you want to add one more column, you will put comma and write the fourth column. If this is your last column, you will not put comma, simply close the round bracket and end it with a semicolon. Okay, so what is this? How we are going to create, what is DDL language? It is used to create the tables inside your relational database. And which command is used to create the table? Create table command is used to create the table. When I execute this, ये जब मैं execute करूंगी तो क्या करेगा? It will make a table called as account with these three columns: account number, branch name, and balance. Are you understanding?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Next is DML, data manipulation language. So what do you mean by manipulation? Changing. तो एक बार data बन गया, table में create हो गया table. What I can do by using DML? I can insert, I can update, and I can delete. I can insert a new record, I can update the existing record, and I can delete the record. So if I want to create, I use DDL language. If I want to make changes into that table, I use DML language. What you can do in DML is you can insert, update, and delete. Are you understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So which language we are going to use? We are going to use this SQL, which stands for Structured Query Language, where we will be using these three commands very often: select, from, and where. Okay, what is that select, from, and where? It is select means select those columns, from means which particular table, and where means what is the condition. Okay, right now let us not understand this we will do it in detail when we come fourth lesson. Okay, but just understand, agar SQL hai to we use these three commands compulsorily, that is select, from, and where. Okay, understood?
Yes.
Okay, then next we have is the overall architecture of the database management system. Now that is only the one part left in the first chapter, so we will do it in the next lecture since it is very big. Okay, so we will do this entire diagram of architecture. What does each and every component means, and after that we will see what do you mean by 2-tier and 3-tier architecture. Okay, is this clear up till here? Whatever has been taught today.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
We had seen definition
Yes,
of DBMS. We saw the purpose. We saw different levels of abstractions. We saw two different languages, that is DDL and DML. Clear? And we also saw different data models. Give me your attendance. Faizan,
Present, ma'am.
Hamza, Muzammil,
Present, ma'am.
Tahir, Viraj,
Present, ma'am.
Om,
Present, ma'am.
Yash,
Present, ma'am.